What's up, everybody? It's HBT, man, here with the Straight Up Wrestling Show, guys. Here live, man, just to talk a little bit about wrestling tonight. Hey, why not? Hey, it's late, but hey, HBT is here in the house. Man, we're going to rock this thing out. We're going to talk a little bit about wrestling, talk a little bit about what's going on right now in wrestling, talk about, hey, the past, and talk about, hey, maybe the future here in wrestling. And, hey, whatever comes to mind, man. And if somebody wants to come in and want to talk about a few things, they definitely can come on in, man, and hit that like button, share as you come in. Hey, like I said, I'm on here late at night, man, just to come on here, talk a little bit to the people. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get a few things straightened out, man, do some sharing and all that, and then we pretty much gonna take off from there. But I appreciate everybody coming in, man. 100% straight up. All right, let me see. Get a few things going here, guys. All right. But yeah, come on in, man. Welcome to the Straight Up Wrestling Show. Come on in and rock with me. Like I said, man, just now getting started. Here to talk a little bit about wrestling, man. Like I said, right now, what's going on, what went on in the past, man, and in the future. Last night, I checked out Vince McMahon, the second episode of that Vince McMahon special that's on Netflix, man. I'm just like, wow. I remember a lot of the things that was going on, at that time. I remember that, as a teenager. This was going on when I was a teenager, man, back in the 80s, early 90s or whatever, teenagers in my 20s and everything. And I wasn't really, like I said, never really was a big WWE fan, even though I followed I followed it because it had a lot of the wrestlers that I grew up with and, that came out of the territorial system. So that was over there in the WWE. So yeah, definitely I followed them, man, because a lot of wrestlers went over into, went over there. So of course I followed it. And I remember all those things was going on. And I remember when, he went on Phil Donahue, Vince McMahon. I remember a lot of those things happening. But to tell you the truth, I just really did not put a whole bunch of attention into it, did not pay a lot of attention to it because, hey, I was really caught up with WCW and everything that they was going with at the time, and looking for that to be the number one wrestling program, even though it wasn't as far as pure numbers or pure popularity. To me, that was really wrestling. That's what wrestling was about to me. So that's pretty much where my head was, even though Vince was going through all these troubles, man. And when it boils down to it, I pretty much kind of like sided with him a little bit because I did not know exactly what they was doing. I thought maybe they was trying to bring wrestling down by going at him a lot. And some of the things, some of the way he came off, it seemed like, he was innocent of a lot of things that they was accusing him of. But I know some of it did sound, some of it in my head back then, I thought some of it sounded credible and that a lot of that stuff might have happened. But hey, I wasn't sure, man. I really wasn't. But wow. So yeah, that right there is it's pretty astonishing to really look at that and see everything just being played out, right there on Netflix. And wow, and Vince McMahon is pretty much saying, yeah, I did a lot of the stuff. He's basically coming out and telling the truth. And that's one thing that he wanted a lot of the wrestlers to do back then. He, instead of these guys pretty much defending or lying about certain things, just like Hulk Hogan lying about the steroid thing when all the steroid abuse stuff came up. He went on Arsenio Hall and he lied. Vince McMahon didn't like that. He wanted him to tell the truth. And back then, I mean, the best policy was telling the truth about that stuff because we wasn't far from, they wasn't far from when, from the time they wasn't far when they was into that steroid thing. It wasn't too far from where it was actually legal. So these guys, man, wrestlers have been taking steroids for years, just like a lot of athletes in a lot of different sports. So pretty much, you might as well tell the truth. And, that was better for everybody if everybody would have just kept on being truthful and all that, man. But yeah, we definitely, going to get more into that. And that's something I might turn on here in just a little bit, watch a little bit more of that Vince McMahon, the Vince McMahon trials or whatever, the Vince McMahon docu documentary series or whatever they have going on over here on Netflix, because they said it's going to be, it's probably be there for a little while, but I'm sure it's going to end up on the internet or something. But man, yeah, I'm going to definitely get into that deeply, guys. But yeah, man, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in wrestling right now. All right, Buck Breesner, what's going on, man? Buck, big wrestler, tall wrestler, guy. What's going on, man? How you doing this evening? It's good to see you, Buck. It's good to see you, man. When you coming back down to the Carolinas, pretty much get yourself back in the ring and everything. Hey, you get back to the Carolinas, man. Let me know if you got your license and everything. Hey, we definitely would love to, have you come in and maybe work a match or two over at CMW Wrestling or PWF Wrestling. I would love to book you, man. But yeah, what's going on, Buck Breesner? Buck Breesner, I'm pretty sure you're the wrestler now. Like you said, I want to make sure. But yeah, let me know if that is you. But yeah, Buck Breesner is in the house. Appreciate you coming in, rocking with Straight Up Wrestling Show. But guys, man, yeah. So like I said, I've been watching. I don't watch 2 episodes of the series that's on Netflix about Vince McMahon. And like I said, back in the day when that was going on, I was a teenager, guys. That was in the 80s and the 90s. I was a teenager. So, and when in the 90s, I was, in my early 20s, watching this thing, I watching it going down. But hey, mostly I was all into WCW, the NWA, WCW, everything that was going on with that, because that was real wrestling to me. And the WWE, I've always looked at it ever since Vince Jr. took over. I looked at it as as cartoon wrestling. But all of those guys that Vince had, most of the guys that he had, they came from somewhere else. They came from the territories. So I definitely knew who that was. I definitely knew who the wrestlers that he had. I knew every wrestler that he had on his roster, and I knew the past. I knew the past of those wrestlers, and I definitely liked those guys a lot when I was growing up. So of course I was going to follow them. I followed. I continued to follow and check on guys like Rick Martel, even Hulk Hogan, who came out of Florida. Rick Martel, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Let's see, just so many of them. Just so many of them that was over in the WWE. I definitely kept my eye on Tony Atlas, and let's see who else, man. Just a lot of people that was around at that time. Bret the Hitman Hart, I knew about him, out of Canada, Stampede, and he came through the NWA and wrestled in Georgia a little bit and a little bit in Mid-Atlantic, for Jim Crockett. So yeah, of course I knew all those guys, and so I continued to follow them to see what their progress was and what they was doing. So yeah, definitely was checking that out, man. But yeah, that Vince McMahon thing, if you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. Go on YouTube and check it out, man. But hey, if you coming in here, man, and if you on Facebook, hit that like, share, join. If you over here on YouTube, hit that like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, ding, 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 so we're on like times like these. Do the same thing if you're on Twitch, and if you see us on X, man, hit that like, share, tweet and retweet, and follow the Straight Up Wrestling Show. But guys, we're gonna get into this, man, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling in the WWE. I'm gonna talk a little bit about AEW, and I'm gonna talk some about the past and what is the future of pro wrestling. And I'll talk a little bit about the indie scene too. Yeah, I'm just gonna get into anything or anybody come in here. If you don't interrupt me, if you don't have anything to say, I'm just gonna go ahead and continue to talk. And I'm one of these people that's got a big mouth that likes to talk anyway. But anybody want to come in here and and speak on this? I know a lot of our fans, a lot of our friends, a lot of you guys may be watching football, or you just stop watching football and you're going to bed. I mean, this is late, especially here on the East Coast. But man, yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and get on here and get some things out today. All right. But yeah, let me go ahead and pull up. I'm going to pull up the WWE roster, guys, and talk a little bit about it right now, because I'm going to be straight up with you. What WWE and AEW, in my opinion, well, not just in my opinion, I'm just going to tell you what it's doing to me, because right now they got me confused, guys. They really do. They got me confused. I mean, we've been doing this for like 3.5 years, and right now I am so confused because there's so much drama so many attacks, so many, they are doing so much as far as like, they just rolling with this bloodline thing and Judgment Day, and pretty much everything else, in my opinion, in WWE is being ignored. And if you get a title, it's flip flop, or you have a title like LA Knight with his U.S. belt really not being defended, but it's going to be defended this week. Shinsuke Nakamura pretty much attacked him. LA Knight looked like he was going to be in a feud with, I don't know, it's just a few different people that looked like he was going to be in a feud with. And you have Braun Breaker, who just now took the title back from Jey Uso, and Braun Breaker has been wrestling. He's been defending his title. He's been over there wrestling on Speed on X, guys. So we hardly ever see him either. So right now, I'm just looking at every single thing that's happening there. Motor City Machine Guns just now won the titles, had it for 1 week, one or 2 weeks. I can't remember. They just now, and then did they lose them? No, they didn't. They got attacked. They was defending them against Street Profits, and they got attacked. So, there was interference in that match. They should have let the match go fully 100%. But, man, we didn't get to see that. I want to see a match from the beginning to end. Give me matches from beginning to end. Guys, give us attacks every now and then. Hey, surprise us with attacks. Don't give us attacks all the time, man. Just drama attacks, specialty matches, chains, man, thumb tacks, or whatever. All the stuff that you're giving us. Why do we have to see that all the time? I mean, just all the time, man. It seemed like nobody can just come out, have a match, and with class. I want to see wrestlers leave with a win, a loss with class, and go back to the locker room, guys. That's what I want to see. That's how wrestling used to be. And, wrestling, they gave us attacks every now and then. They gave us turncoats where people turned on their partners or they turned on the fans or whatever. That happened every now and then, and it was such a shock. That's what I want now. Now, nothing surprised me as far as wrestling now. I look at wrestling now and, I just sit there and I just look at it. I'm like, what you guys are giving me as far as in the WWE and AEW, I can go to any indie shows. And believe me, there's a lot in my area over here in the Carolinas, Georgia, man. You can throw a rock in pretty much within a 5-mile radius and hit an indie show anywhere. There's so many indie shows, and these indie shows don't run every week. So, they run monthly or bi-weekly, or sometimes, 3 months in between. Indie promotion will run a show, and they trying to cram in a lot of different things. And so a lot of chaos happens in the shows. And a lot of people you may have seen, maybe 20 miles down the road, he was a heel. He's a good guy, in this promotion. Then he's a heel the next time you see him. So you see that. You see that where, it's unorganized and everything. But what I'm beginning to see in the WWE and the AEW, I am beginning to see a lot of unorganization, which I do not like. I don't like, man. And it's just, you're not going to gain. You're not going to pick up. You're not going to pick your audience up. You're not going to pick up more people, tuning in to see the sport that we all love if you continue to do that. Straight up. I mean, hey, I done said it, and I say it again. The numbers don't lie. The Nielsen ratings are not lying. And I know a lot of people don't want to, they want to dismiss that when you see, hey, AEW has bad ratings, and now the WWE is having bad ratings, and people are like, what does ratings mean? Hey, the ratings mean that if these guys don't get everything straightened up, they won't be on TV after a while. Straight up, they won't be on TV after a while. And then you can say, all right, they'll go on streaming services or they'll go on YouTube or something like that, but they always will be around. But yes, they will. But I tell you what this is showing me. What it's showing me as far as how these fans are turning away and they going and they deciding to do everything, they deciding to do other things instead of watching wrestling with their time. And I'm going to tell you why. Even though we have wrestling fans that are loyal, there's a lot of wrestling fans out here that's very loyal, but there's not a wrestling fan. Most of these wrestling fans will tell you, or they won't tell you, but I know deep down in their heart, they want the general public to like what they want. That's just human nature. What you follow and what you like. It doesn't matter if it's a TV show. It doesn't matter if it's a video game. It doesn't matter if it's something you like to eat. You want everybody involved in it, or you want everybody to think that thing that you like, that thing that you enjoy is cool. Straight up. Straight up. You want everybody around you to think that thing that you enjoy. Hey, man, this is cool. Hey, man, you know, you want them to like the NASCAR driver that you like, you know, the person that you like as far as NASCAR. You know, they want you to like that person, even though you really don't watch NASCAR. They want you to like the golfer that they like. You know, they want to that person that they think that is cool. They, you know, they'll speak to you and, you know, with joy in their heart that, hey, this is something I enjoy. Don't you think that's cool? And some of these wrestling fans out here, if they're looking at this in the wrestling public, not just the wrestling public, but people out here say, hey, this is stupid, this is dumb. Why are y'all watching that? You know, when that kind of thing happens, you better believe people walk away from it because they're going to look at it as not cool or whatever. And the people out here, man, that's, that's basically, hey, they might be watching football or watching something else on TV or get out here and hang out and go to different, go to maybe dance clubs or do other cool things. And they think what you're doing is retarded because you're watching this. I shouldn't say that word retarded. Sorry about that. But what they think you're doing, you watching something that's ridiculous. And hey, Vince McMahon, he let the word out years ago that it's only a show. It's not real. So these fans are looking at, hey, why are you watching that fake stuff, man? It's fake. It's not real or whatever. When Vince McMahon decided, when he made that decision to come out and say it's a show, it's not real, and that was in the late 90s, I think 99, 2000 or whatever. When he did that, he made that decision to do that. What he should have did is your show had to go from being good to very, very good. I mean, excellent. Your shows, for you not to lose an audience, because he lost audience on that, you had to go 5 times better than what you were. You did. Every show had to be great because you had to give people a reason. When it's scripted and is not real, which you disappointed a lot of people, you have to make that show so outstanding that people can't afford to miss it. They cannot afford to miss it. What do we have in wrestling today that we did not have back in the day? What did we have back in the day that we have today? Today we have something that we didn't have back in the day. It's something that wrestling keeps using as an excuse. The reason, they'll make excuse about the ratings because, hey, we was up against the NBA last night. We was up against Major League Baseball. We was up against the NFL. Hey, the presidential debates was going on last night. Any little thing, man, any little thing, they will make excuses. Back when I was growing up, there was no excuses. It didn't matter. Wrestling would go side by side by SEC, side by side, go up against an SEC football game at any time, any college football game, any NFL game. It did not matter what was happening. Wrestling would go up against it. I don't care if it was MASH. I'm talking about MASH's last show, which drew bukus, millions of people around the world. Wrestling was going up against it. Wrestling didn't care. Even with their territories, man, the territories that was on TV, they drew massive ratings. And most of those territories, around the country, it was the number one show on that local station. For that local affiliate of ABC, NBC, or CBS. It was the number one show. Wrestling didn't make excuses. Now they make excuses. Oh, we was up against this. No, it does not matter because I know as a super wrestling fan, and I'm telling you, I was a super wrestling fan. There was not one thing, even though I was a huge football fan, huge NFL football fan, loved NFL football. I could tell you every single quarterback and every single starting running back and every single starting wide receiver and tight end and, all the skill positions. I can tell you all the starters on every team. That's all I thought about. Bought all the football cards every year. Just bought bukus of them. Love football. But I love wrestling. Wrestling, we didn't have that much memorabilia until WWE started doing it. I really wasn't interested in theirs. A lot of the stuff they was doing, but they didn't really have cards. And then they had cards, a little bit later in the 90s or early 2000s. They started doing cards. But man, nothing could take me away. Could take my eyes away from the TV screen anytime that, hey, WTBS was on a Superstation, or the Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling was on Channel 4, and Channel 7. Worldwide Wrestling was on Channel 7, Channel 13. Let's see, what else? When Georgia Championship Wrestling would come on at 6:05 on Saturday nights. Nothing could take me away. And, you had football. They went up against football, and they still was drawing anywhere from 11 to 15 million people. So, man, it's nothing interfered with that. When the WWE first started coming on in 1982 on USA Network on Monday nights, hey, I was watching the WWE when they first started out on USA. I was checking that out. When CWA started coming on, I think Channel 13, out of Tennessee, I was watching them. I was watching Southwest, Tully Blanchard Southwest Championship Wrestling out of Texas. When they started coming on Sundays, I was checking them out. I couldn't get enough. Loved it. And none of these organizations started made excuses. Nobody made no excuse until Vince McMahon came in and tried to start buying up anything. But hey, nobody was making excuses. Oh, well, we was going up against this. We was going up against that, because their wrestling sold itself. It was so good, and the storylines were so good. You kept coming back. And back then, it was basically all you saw on TV was squash matches, guys. That's what you saw. But the stories that was so built up to where they were trying to get you out to the arena, because that's where they really made their money. They didn't make money on TV, because these guys really didn't have the business sense to realize that, hey, we can make all this money on TV because we're drawing all these massive ratings. They didn't understand that. Look at these guys. They wanted wrestling on TV, so they made a deal with, hey, we put wrestling on TV, and and we get paid promotions, and we'll just pay you guys for a spot. A lot of these guys were paying for a spot, and then they didn't have to pay for a spot. They said, okay, we'll take revenue from the advertisers that come on, but that was going to the television. That was going to the television stations, guys. The regional television stations. So wrestlers got ripped off, and wrestling got ripped off big time, straight up. All right, Christine Saucy Girl is in the house. Says, hello, HBT. Hope your day has gone well. Saw you were on. I figured I'll pop on. I'm glad you did, Christine Saucy Girl. All right, Christine Saucy Girl said they need to quit all the stupid BS. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. We have so much of it. So much of it, man. Look, how long? I talked to Christopher Burton earlier today. I said, man, I'm going to have to make some shorts. I'm going to have to do a few things, because I'm asking you, hey, we started this thing in 2021. That's when I started watching wrestling again. It pretty much disappeared for me for 20 years. I did not watch. I hardly ever watched it. And I had before that, but the first 31, 32 years of my life, like I say, because I didn't start watching until I was like late, almost 5 years old. I definitely remember that. But for 31 years of my life, I watched it religiously, guys. I watched wrestling religiously. Really did. And, it disappeared after, hey, WCW started doing some of the crazy things. You brought Eric Bischoff in, and Eric Bischoff, he changed the whole culture of what went on with WCW. The man really didn't know Ric Flair's past. He didn't know Harley Race's past. He really didn't know the past. He did not know the way they was ran, and he tried to run it like, hey, it was WCW. I mean, like it was the WWE. And I can't just say him. Jim Herd tried that before him, but it was just crazy. But us Southern folks, mainly the WCW's fans was basically, for the most part, of course they had, because they was big up in Baltimore, Maryland, they was big in Chicago, Illinois, and they was big in Buffalo, New York. So certain spots that they had up north that, pockets of people that really enjoyed the NWA, WCW type style of wrestling. So they definitely had a following around the country, but not like the WWE. A lot of people just didn't get to see it. It was there. It was on the Superstation, but a lot of people didn't get to see it. They didn't advertise it, or they didn't have a marketing blitz the way the WWE, the WWF had at that time. The World Wrestling Federation, man, they had, it wasn't just the marketing genius of Vince McMahon. It's just that, after he had got himself out in the public eye, they'd have had that machine out in New York behind him, the number one capital of, the capital of mass media, was 100% behind the WWE. So everybody knew who it was, even though it was the weaker product when it came to wrestling. It was, and I know some people might hear me and saying that, don't want to agree with it, but it was. Why do you think Vince pretty much went and cleaned up the territories, and all those territories was NWA wrestling territories? Why do you think he went and plucked all those wrestlers from there? All those different wrestlers. All his stars came from that. All his stars came from that. Only really homegrown stars he really had, I could say Ultimate Warrior was homegrown. Let's see. Who else maybe it was homegrown? It's not many of them I could say back then was actually a homegrown WWE star. They all came from somewhere else. They all came from a system of the NWA and some of them out of the AWA. I can't think of one that he really built into a supreme superstar. Now, did he add to the legacy of some of these wrestlers and make them better? Yes, he did. I will give him that. Now, he took, Mean Mark Callis, who was in the WCW, Mean Mark Callis, who did very well over there and was part of the Skyscrapers. But he took him up there, man, and he put the Undertaker, he put that gimmick on him. Man, Undertaker wouldn't, Mean Mark Callis never would have achieved the success in WCW that he achieved in WWE. No flipping way. Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was stunning Steve Austin, who was a superstar, he was a star in WCW, but he never would have got as big as he did if he wouldn't have went up. First he went to was it ECW or whatever, it used to be called East Coast Wrestling. Then it became, I forgot what it became after that, but the one that Jim, what is his name? Goodness sake, man. Paul Heyman, the one that Paul Heyman ran. But yeah, he went up there and he worked for Paul Heyman, and then he ended up working for WWE. And hey, man, the rest is history. He became Stone Cold Steve Austin. He never would have got that popular if he would stay stunning Steve Austin. He might have would have won a world championship because Ric Flair wanted to put that title on him. He definitely wanted to drop the belt to him, but he never would have became as popular as popular as he did if he would have, wouldn't have went there. All right, Christine says they need to quit all the BS. Yes, they do. Already read that. But yeah, let me go ahead and pull up this roster, guys. Let me go ahead and talk. Let's talk about this roster and talk about what's going on. Because look, in my opinion, they don't even have their superstars established anymore. I don't know who's really the top 7 go-to guys, or top 7, the top 4, top 3, top 4 go-to girls in the company anymore. I just know Liv Morgan and I will say Nia Jax, but outside of that, I really don't know. And everybody, any company, you start a wrestling company, you should have your top 7 or 8 main eventers. You should have them known. They should be recognized. And you got to put them out there and say, hey, this is it. These are the guys that's going to lead the company. And yes, you need a tag team division. You need a tag team division, and you need 2 or 3 tag teams that really doing it up and that's keeping that thing working. All these, 6-man, these 8-man, these 12-man, all these different kind of matches like that. Hey, they're boring. They get tiring. They get tiring, and it leads to nothing but more chaos. Straight up. But all right, guys. But let me go over, man. Let me look at this roster and talk about Whoa. Okay, we got the champions here, guys. We got the champions. Okay, the champions in the WWE, of course, Cody Rhodes, the undisputed WWE champion. Gunther is the world heavyweight champion. And so, just on the men's side, Braun Breaker is the Intercontinental Champion. The LA Knight is the United States Champion. Andrade is the WWE Speed Champion. Okay. Let's look at your male champions, guys. Let's look at your male champions. Okay, let's go with Cody Rhodes first. Let's go to Cody Rhodes. I was a little earlier, I clipped on a podcast, friend of me and Chris's, clipped on that, and, one guy, and he's talking about, they sitting there talking about, hey, they was talking about Bronson Reed, and one guy was saying that he was boring, and then the other guy, he come in and say, hey, you talking about boring? Hey, that's Cody Rhodes. That's Cody Rhodes. Man, he a boring, and, cussing and whatever. But hey, Cody's not boring. He really isn't. And Cody is a good champion. He is a good champion, great representative of the sport of wrestling, and can be an outstanding champion. But Cody, he hasn't gotten a chance. They have not given this guy a chance to really defend his title, to be great, to have something great in wrestling, man. To make someone great, you have got to put them in that position. The company, it's up to the company. It's up to bookers to put those guys in that position. I could take any wrestler. I don't care how talented he is. I don't care if he was the great Ric Flair. I do not care if he was Bret the Hitman Hart. I don't care if he was Ricky the Dragon, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I do not care who he was. I don't care if he's Harley Race, Bob Backlund, Bruno Sammartino, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, The Rock. It doesn't matter. I could take them, if I was running the organization, and I could put them in the crappiest matches. It doesn't matter if they win them or not. But if I take Ric Flair and I say, okay, man, I'm just gonna put you in there. I'm gonna put you in the match. I'm gonna put you in there against the Italian Stallion this week. The next week you're gonna wrestle Chick Donovan. The next week, Rocky King. The next week you got George Soft on the card. That's your slate for the month. And I don't care if he has the world title. But if he win and he goes in and he beats all these, win every one of those matches, and you have people out here that's the caliber. Let's go and throw Gunther in there. The caliber of a Gunther, the caliber of a Braun Breaker, and the LA Knight. So you got wrestlers like that. The caliber of Sheamus, Drew McIntyre. But instead, you're putting him in there against, hey, these low caliber wrestlers. You're putting him in there against a Don Cornotto when you got a Sergeant Slaughter, who's out there waiting in the ring, in the wings. But if you put against consistently putting him in there against people like that, instead of giving him a lineup of credible opponents, you're going to have what you have, guys. And you're going to say, oh, no, he's not a good champion. You're going to blame it on him. He's not a good champion. Look what the ratings are. Look what's happening. But no, you're not giving him anything, guys. Hey, Vince, you got to give this guy something to make him great. That thing with Shinsuke Nakamura could have been a feud, guys. Shinsuke put on some great, he had some great vignettes, great promo, little promo spots, and he was coming after Cody Rhodes. That thing could have went on for 3 or 4 months, but it went on for like what 5 weeks or so, like that. And then when they had the match, and after that, it's over. And then who else? Cody, he had this thing with Kevin Owens, there for a short time. I think that's still going on, but every little thing, every little spot that he's had, it's been very short since he won the title. Everybody that he defended that belt against, it's like a one and done. He had that little thing with Bronson Reed. It was over with really quick. And speaking of Bronson Reed, pushing this guy to the moon, man, straight up. But Cody Rhodes, I'm gonna get back to that, talk about Cody Rhodes and the people that they should be putting him against. And I'm gonna look at this roster. I'm just gonna scan through the roster real quick, and I'm just gonna lay out, a top 10 that they should be, having to face him. Everybody deserves a top 10. Gunther deserves a top 10. That's the reason you break it up, SmackDown and Raw, to make it less confusing. But hey, it's really no SmackDown or Raw because you're using the same talent on both shows. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. If for some reason Triple H is showing me that he cannot handle more than two, he can't handle more than two factions or a few different storylines at a time. It's sad, guys. Gunther not getting the respect he deserves. Gunther should always look like a monster. Shouldn't look afraid of anybody. You just now made this guy look like he's scared, guys. He's doubting himself. With Damian Priest. Damian Priest could have held on to that title a little bit longer than he had it. But the thing with Damian Priest, you didn't give him a great run as the champion either, because you really didn't know what to do with him. You did not line up his top contenders. He should have had that belt for at least 4 months. 4 to 5 months defending that title, and then lose that title in a hard fought match against Gunther or whoever was, that you guys wanted to take the mantle. Braun Breaker lost the belt for about 4 weeks, about 3 to 4 weeks to Jey Uso, then won it back. But you made Braun Breaker look weak when he lost it because he didn't have the belt long. And what did you do after that? Braun Breaker got the belt, then started defending the belt immediately, over on SmackDown or even Raw. He ended up defending the belt on Speed. And this week, I think he'll wrestle Sheamus, on TV, but he's been defending the belt ever since that they came to Greenville, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, came to Greenville, and, him and Sheamus been going at it on Speed ever since then. It's crazy, guys. All right, LA Knight. Man, you put the title on him late. You definitely put it on him late. I mean, when he was the biggest attraction in the sport at one time. He was huge, man. He was huge. And anybody that listens to the Straight Up Wrestling Show, no, I really don't care about LA Knight. I really don't care about LA Knight. But, man, hey, I know when somebody's good for the business. And that's what I kept saying. You need to take that U.S. title off of Logan Paul and put it on LA Knight. Yeah, you finally did it. But, you was like 2 to 3 months late. And then when this guy's in the ring, this past weekend, Friday night, you have Shinsuke Nakamura come out and attack him. Now, what are you going to do with that? And Shinsuke Nakamura, you can make this guy into the Great Muta if you do it right. You really can. All right, on NXT, man, Trick Williams is the NXT champion again, heavyweight champion. And I'll say this, for like the past 5 or 6 weeks, I really haven't watched NXT. We used to cover that all the time. I really have not watched NXT. I got to catch back up. We did watch the pay-per-view, the PL League, 2 or 3 weeks ago. That was great. Roxanne Perez is the NXT Women's Champion. Tony D'Angelo is the NXT North American Champion. So happy that he has the title. You're talking about what a great talent he is. Fallon Henry is the NXT Women's North American Champion. Wow. I love Fallon Henry, though. I really do. All right, we got Nathan Fraser and Axiom, NXT Tag Team Champions, and that's a great tag team, guys. These guys are so quick, man. They're small, but they're quick, fast, and they get the job. They get the job done. All right, we got Charlie Dempsey, the NXT Heritage Cup champion. That's not really my thing, the Heritage Cup, but it is something different. So it works, man. It works 100%. But yeah, let's go over these WWE current superstars. I'm not even going to talk about, as far as which brand they're on, because like I said, they basically confused everybody. They got me confused. They are confusing people with who's on what or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to go through some of these people, and right now, I'm in that Cody Rhodes mode. So I'm going to talk about Cody Rhodes and, who should be on tap, who should be the top guys for Cody Rhodes' title, guys. All right, got AJ Styles. Got AJ Styles still on the roster, but AJ Styles is hurt. All right, we got A-Cam. Oh gosh, man, that's a good looking guy. Kiri Tozawa, Alba Fire. Okay, Alice Sheely. Let me just go through the guys, man. Andrade. All right, and Andrade, like I say, Andrade is the speed champ. But Andrade is a superstar, guys. But I think he's a fan favorite right now. I'm not sure, but you could have him as a heel. I think he works better as a heel. And he's one of these guys, man. I think, in my opinion, he should be in the lineup in the top 10 for Cody's title, 100%. So let's go ahead and put him as the 6th best wrestler in the WWE. Number 6 as far as the challenger for the World Heavyweight Championship, even though he's the speed champion. All right, Andre Chase, Angel, and I know Andre Chase, and I think Angel Garza. Angel Garza should always be one of your main jobbers, one of the main mid-card guys. And you should have Cody Rhodes take him on, on a Monday Night Raw or a Friday Night SmackDown. Take him out, maybe wrestle him twice within the next 5 or 6 weeks. So definitely, just to put in that work. All right, Andre Chase, Angel. We got Angelo Dawkins. Wow, I think Montez Ford need to go on his own, but Angelo Dawkins is a low mid-card guy and should become like a jobber, just basically a great jobber, like the Brooklyn Brawler or somebody like that, and just somebody that's incredible, goes in and puts in great work, but maybe, he's going to lose like an Iron Mike Sharp back in the day. Apollo Crews, one of these guys, man, who you should be able to use and put him in a position to where he can challenge for one of the belts, man. He can challenge maybe for, he maybe can challenge, for Braun Breaker's title a little bit later on down the road. Now, I know they wrestled in NXT. Apollo Crews went out to Braun Breaker, tried to take his title over there in NXT, and Braun Breaker took him out a couple times. I remember that. Really wasn't a great match, but it's like a C match up. But yeah, you put Apollo Crews, you could put him in the lineup, for Braun Breaker's belt. Let Apollo Crews get built up, and let him head into that. Ashante Adonis, another guy you should use as a jobber. One of these guys that's, hey, he's gonna lose a good bet, but you most definitely need to put him out there, man, and just get him on TV. Let this guy be a face of, a face of the WWE, and one of these guys that, hey, he's going to get in there. He's going to put on a great show, just like Andre Dawkins or, and Angel Garza or whatever. But these guys these are the guys that, hey, they lose and they put over the bigger talent. You need people like that. All right. Okay. Let me see what I got after this. All right. We got Austin Theory, guys. Austin Theory don't have a belt right now. He doesn't have a title. And that's a shame, to tell you the truth. But hey, he's a heel too. And I'm gonna be straight honest. I think this guy, Austin Theory, will have an outstanding feud with Cody Rhodes. You guys play it right, and you want to build somebody up, you want to make somebody a star, and they tried to make Austin Theory a star. Put him in a feud with Cody Rhodes. I think that'll work out. How much would it elevate him? Not a whole lot, probably 30% higher than what he was, though, guys. People start talking about him and look at him as a real threat. But put this guy in a feud with Cody. He will have great matches with Cody. No ends and buts about it. Austin Theory has proven time and time again that he can go with anybody. Every time you saw this guy in the ring, when he was solo, he had a United States title even before he had that. He showed every time that he got in the ring, he can have a 4-star match or above with anybody that you put him in the ring with. Austin Theory can go, guys. He can go. So he is one of these top 10 contenders. So now I can have 2. He's one of the top 10 contenders for Cody Rhodes' title. The other guy is, I say, Andrade. You put Andrade like number 6. I say Austin Theory at number 3. He's that talented, guys. All right, I'm trying to get a top 10 here. I'm not writing it down, so I'm going to try to do it by memory, guys. Austin Theory, and then you have the other dude, Austin Theory and Andrade. So I'm going to try to do this thing by memory, if I can, of who's the top 10 guys for Cody Rhodes. Okay? So let me go ahead and continue on. I'm going to go ahead and continue on with that. But wow. But yeah, I love that. I love what I'm seeing here, because it goes to show me that they have no excuse. There's not a lack of talent in the WWE. They have all the talent. They have great talent. But man, they have got to pretty much grab all of this, and they have got to be able to use this and expand it out to the roster. and give us on TV and give us in arenas, man, what we come to pay for, or what we split our time. Our time is very valuable. Everybody's time is valuable. Hey, you're not here forever, so, and you're only young for so long, but you got a lot of us that's older that's out here watching wrestling, and we really don't have the time like we want to. And, a lot of young people really don't have the time like they want to. But when you spend your time, going to watch Raw, which they will be going back to 3 hours. I know it's 2 hours right now, and SmackDown's 2 hours. But you're spending 5 hours watching that. You're spending a couple hours watching NXT. And then, that's without even throwing in AEW. But if you're just a WWE fan, you watch it 7 hours. They're asking you to spend 7 hours of your time during the week to watch this stuff, man, to watch it, and then go on, and they want you to go on social media and like their stuff. You're asking people to spend a lot of time. So if you're doing that, please give us great dynamic content, time and time again, great matches, great storylines, because, hey, the wrestling public deserves it. Spending a lot of money on you guys. But yeah, you got to please the consumer. Straight up, don't just give us anything. All right. Berto. Yeah, Berto is Garza's partner. You still use Angel Garza and Berto as a tag team. That was an incredible tag team when they first started. But, guys, you pretty much kind of like killed that off a little bit. So, Berto is another guy, say, you use as a jobber or whatever, but basically low tier. Not as good as some of these other guys I said a little earlier that you use like that. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Braun Strowman, when he comes back, still, upper tier, middleman, middle card man, and somebody who can pretty much always threaten for one of the smaller titles. Really, really and truly. One of the guys, man, that'll come out and say, hey, Cody, if you need me, hey, I'm there for you. But yeah, you got to use these people. Brooks Jensen over there in NXT. Brooks Jensen is one of these guys, man, that can come on. You can bring on to wrestle Cody. He's on your roster. You can bring him over. And Brooks Jensen he's had a change of heart. He's become this bad guy. So yeah, you can bring him over, man, and let him. He's big, good size, a little bit bigger than Cody. Let him come over and challenge for the title. Maybe on a Monday Night Raw, get his tail beat. But that's not in the top 10, but that's somebody that you've given us that Cody haven't wrestled yet. Bronson Reed, you can go back to Bronson Reed. And Bronson Reed you put Bronson Reed at number 4. Number 4 contender, even though he has a feud with somebody else, he can still be the number 4 contender to Cody Rhodes' title. So he's always a threat. So you have Cody take him on, randomly and beat him on TV. So that's another one. So that's 3 top 10 guys. So Cody is still cleaning up the top 10, even though I think Bronson Reed should be one of your mid-carders. Hey, it's obvious that you guys are pushing him to put him on the top. Triple H, that's what you're doing. All right, Brutus Creed, and, of course, him and his brother. So, no, I wouldn't put, Brutus Creed by himself in a position for that. Carlito, man, you keep Carlito, but you make Carlito one of these lower tier guys on the mid card. You just do. He's one of these guys that might win on TV. He may lose, but make sure he loses 60, 70% of the time on TV. Use him like that. Pay him his money, long as he's willing to take that money. You let him know, hey, you're not going to be the superstar. Carmelo Hayes is a 50-50 guy. He's a mid-card guy. Not a threat to neither one of those titles. At least not right now. Let him continue to build up on the main roster. He did have a great feud with Andrade. Right now, like I say, Andrade is the speed champion, but Andrade should be in line for Cody's belt. In my opinion, he's that good. He's great. All right, let's see. Cedric Alexander. Definitely can use Cedric Alexander. Use him a lot. Use him a lot, man. Use him a lot on the card, but use Cedric Alexander as Angel, like you would use Angel Garza or somebody. You use him as a jobber. A Brooklyn Brawler, another Brooklyn Brawler type guy. A Chick Donovan, a Rocky King, Italian Stallion. You use him like that. But yeah, he's one of these guys that consistently you can get over, like the next guy, Chad Gable. Chad Gable, you want this guy to be one of your top guys, man. He was one of the top 4 or 5 wrestlers in the business not too long ago when he was challenging Gunther for his world title. This guy, Chad Gable, is incredible, guys. He's incredible. Dean Malenko type dude. I'm gonna even throw in Kurt Angle. I know my girl Christine Saucy Girl don't care for Kurt Angle, but you got to throw him in there. Bob Backlund, Mike Rotundo, those great technical scientific wrestlers. That's Chad Gable. Chad Gable is excellent wrestler, outstanding. He's a star, guys. He's a star. Whether you like it or not, he's a star, and he should be. You could definitely put him in that line up to be, one of the challenges for Cody Rhodes. I'm gonna go ahead and throw him in at number 5 right now, guys. I got Andrade, I got Chad Gable, I got Bronson Reed, and I got Apollo Crews. No, I think I put Apollo Crews. I think I put him in that top 10 too. So I got those 4 guys right now, guys. That could be used and utilized in that top 10 for Cody Rhodes. So in my opinion, right now, it's just I don't see no excuse why they can't build a coalition of opponents for Cody to make him look good. It took great opponents to make Ric Flair look outstanding the way he his career came out. You had to have great opponents go for his title. You did. And see, and you have, even when these guys are in a feud with somebody, you got to be reminded that he's got to take on other great people, to enhance that feud. And that's what Nature Boy did. All right, let's see what the girl is saying here. Angle was a great wrestler. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. All right, let's see. Chris Sabian, if he ever wrestles every now and then, I think he's going to wrestle on NXT last or whatever. But Chris Sabian, you can use him anytime on the main roster as another jobber. CM Punk, hey, we don't know if this guy ever going to come back, if he's going to wrestle again. We don't know. But if you do bring him back, you bring him back slowly and let him just go out there, man. Be a commentator, kind of like my man Johnny Weaver back in the day. And I know a lot of you may not know Johnny Weaver was, but great commentator and used to go out there and be in the ring every now and then. But use him sparingly. Use him like Roddy Piper did, like when Roddy Piper was doing Piper's Pit, and Roddy Piper would go in that ring and do some crazy stuff every now and then, and really wasn't fighting the top guys and stuff into like pay-per-views, big shows or whatever. But he would just go out there and beat up somebody. But have him CM Punk go in and wrestle these guys on a pretty much lower mid card and pretty much the guys who's out there serving as one of your jobbers, guys that's gonna lose, know they're gonna lose. Let him do that. Don't put him in there against somebody like Drew McIntyre and throw a bull rope around him, man, and talk about we're gonna drag each other around the ring. No, this guy's gonna get injured. He has shown time and time again since he came back. 2021, when he came back, that he's injury prone, guys. That he's gonna get injured. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the case with him. Yeah, he's going to continue to get injured. All right, Corey Graves. All right, Cruz Del Toro. And I appreciate Corey Graves when he came down here a few weeks ago, man. He talked about the Straight Up Wrestling Show. He knows about the Straight Up Wrestling Show. Appreciate that, Corey Graves. Cruz Del Toro. He's part of the LWO thing or whatever. This guy, he's okay, man, but he's another guy, man. He's basically a jobber, close to like mid-card status. But that's the way you use him. He's definitely not. But you can have Cody Rhodes go in there and take this guy on. You throw him in there against a Gunther. All right, Damian Priest. Right now, Damian Priest, you have him positioned to go up against Gunther. He's playing. He's basically on the fan favorite side. So yeah, you have him go up against Gunther. He's not a threat to later on to Cody Rhodes. Maybe 2-3 months down the road, then they have a friendly confrontation. And we see what happens there. But right now, he's not in that top 10. I'm not going to put him in the top 10. I put him in the top 10 contenders for Gunther's title, guys. All right, man. We got Dante Chen. Another guy that you can use who's a guy who's coming up, been over there wrestling on NXT. But right now, he's wrestling on NXT the lower brand of NXT Level Up, but he's really good. Dirty Dominic Mysterio, but not a top 10 contender. He's like the number 12 contender. He's actually coming up, but he's like the number 12 contender. But even though Cody Rhodes done dusted him off time and time again, that he done wrestled him a few different times, let Cody Rhodes wrestle him a couple more times, man, within the next 6 weeks. I say next 8 weeks, next 8 to 10 weeks. You could throw Dirty Dom in there, man, in a couple matches in there with Cody Rhodes, and let Cody Rhodes dust this guy off again and again 2 more times. And I think that will roll very well. Dragon Lee, a top 10 player for Gunther, just like Damian Priest. Let's see, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre come back, automatic, make him number 1 contender for Cody Rhodes title. Number 1 contender, right off the bat. Even though he lost to CM Punk, you make this guy, Drew McIntyre, the number 1 contender for Cody's title. That's what I would do. Straight up. Goodness sake, guys, I just now messed up. I did something. Wait a minute. I think I did it. I'm good. But yeah, Drew McIntyre, make him the number 1 contender. So what that makes 5, 6 guys, I think. But make Drew McIntyre the number 1 contender for Cody's title. And you put those 2 in a feud. That would be great. And you have that in the culmination within like 3 months in your whatever pay-per-view or PLE that you have during that time. You make Drew McIntyre, you build that up. You start building that up maybe 2.5, 3 months down the road. Start building up a feud with Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, and let it be class. Let it play out from each one of these guys, showing class by coming out, having great promos against each other, talking, and maybe a confrontation or 2, but shoving, maybe. Not all this crazy thing, all the crazy stuff trying to hurt each other before the match, but maybe 1 confrontation like that, but all the rest is pretty much, do it with class, guys, and then have these guys wrestle and to settle it all. And if it's a great match, you continue to feud there for a couple more months, 2 to 3 months. But yeah, automatically make him, man, by February, the number 1 contender for the title, straight up. Okay, we got Duke Hudson. He's in NXT. Eddie Thorpe. Eddie Thorpe is another guy, man. He's another guy. He's he's a Native American wrestler. Eddie Thorpe is over on NXT, but you can bring Eddie Thorpe up there and let him be a jobber. Put over the big guys over on the main roster and continue to wrestle on NXT. Be great. All right, we got Adaris Nofi. Let's see. Eric with Ivar. Of course, you don't want to mess with that. That tag team wrestling definitely got to get on track. All right, man, we got Ethan Page, guys. Okay, we got Ethan Page, who have been, he's been an NXT champ, but Ethan Page, you can bring this guy up. Go ahead and bring him up. He's ready. He is ready. Bring him up, guys, and immediately, and then build him up. He's got to build himself up. Let him work for 3 to 4 weeks, wrestling these guys, man, wrestling guys on the undercard, mid card, and, maybe on the lower rung of the roster, and let him build himself up into the top 10 and put him at number 7 as the number 7 contender behind Andrade. I think, was it Andrade? Put him as the number 7 contender for Cody Rhodes title. So right now, out of just this, just these few contenders down to Ethan Page, guys, I have got Austin Theory, who I think will have a great feud with Cody Rhodes. I got Damian Priest, another guy, great feud with Cody Rhodes. Why can't the WWE do this? I mean, I don't understand it. I really don't. The talent is there. Finn Balor, who I hear who probably going to end up being a good guy, but right now he's a bad guy. So right now you put Finn Balor in that top 10. You make him number 8 and let him build himself back up. Let him build himself up for the next 6-7 weeks. Then he become the number 2 contender after Damian Priest for the title. I'm gonna write this stuff down, guys. Right now, I'm just going over it. But yeah, Finn Balor is 100%, man. Finn Balor is a legit challenger for that title. But the best thing about this, Cody Rhodes get to go through all these guys. The next one, I see another guy, Giovanni Vinci, somebody that Cody Rhodes can take on doing. He can take on Giovanni Vinci. As he gets prepared to take on Finn Balor, which will be a legendary feud. I think will be a legendary feud. It'll be one of these feuds that's that go down. That will go down like a Ric Flair against, hey, maybe Ricky Steamboat, or Ric Flair against, and Ric Flair against, you take somebody like Austin Theory against Cody Rhodes. It can go down like Ric Flair and Ron Garvin. It's so many great opportunities that you have for Cody Rhodes that would just make him this incredible star. Him beating Drew McIntyre and Finn Balor, which Drew McIntyre and Finn Balor, big names, top tier stars. Him beating them will elevate Cody so high in the game. It's crazy, guys. It's just flat out crazy. Okay, got Giovanni Vinci. You can have him like number 13. You can put him at like the number 13 contender. Have him take out, wrestle Giovanni Vinci on the way, man. Maybe once or twice, either at one of these shows or one of these house shows, or have him do it one time on TV. Ilya Dragunov. Okay, Ilya Dragunov. I see that when he comes back. I don't know what in the world happened to him. They had him on the roster there for a while, but he's definitely, he wrestles as a good guy, so he's not a contender. He's a contender for Gunther's title, not Cody's title. So he's in the top 10 for Gunther's title. Wow, man. That's some incredible. Hey, Jacob Fatu. 100%. Jacob Fatu. Make Jacob Fatu. Put him in the top 10. Put him as number 9. I was going to say number 3. But put him as the number 9 contender for Cody Rhodes' title. Give this guy a shot at the title. Let him fight twice for the belt within the next 9 weeks. Let him fight at least 2 times for the belt. And have Cody come out on top of him. Man, you're talking about building a champion. JD Madonna, definitely put him in the top 10, man. Make this guy the number 10 contender. JD Madonna. Have Cody beat him. Wow. Okay, Javon Evans, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Jaquan Wild, Joe Kofi, Joe Tessitore. Joe Tessitore's John Cena. I don't know why he's on there. Johnny Gargano. No, Johnny Gargano is a good guy. So, you don't put him as one of the top 10 contenders for Cody's belt. You put him at, I'll go ahead and say a top 10 contender, maybe number 9 for, for Gunther's title. Guys, I'm going to write all this stuff down. All right, Josh Briggs. Josh Briggs is a guy who you can bring over and let him job to Cody. But he's an NXT guy. Maybe let him do that one time. That would be incredible, guys. But you can use so many different people in this scenario to fight Cody Rhodes. Carl Anderson. Wow, man. Yeah, I don't know about that. Would be great. Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross, guys. They will have to go and correct everything that Karrion has done so far. And you got to put him on a winning streak. It can be done because people got to forget all of the bad things that done happened to Karrion. But you can put Karrion on a winning streak, but Karrion has the look, he has the size. You can put Karrion Kross as his number 3 contender for that title. And then let's see what we in November. Mid-January, start having Karrion Kross take on Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes take out Karrion Kross. He moves on to Damian Priest, who's the number 1 contender. 3-2. So you skip over. You got Damian Priest number 1, not Damian Priest. I'm sorry, not Damian Priest, but Drew McIntyre as the number 1 contender. Number 2 contender is Finn Balor. Number 3 is Karrion Kross. That's the top 3 contenders that I think would be great for a chance at that title for Cody Rhodes' title. And he can go through each and every one of these guys, from anywhere from January. I say start wrestling them in January on to maybe April or May. He taking on these guys, man. Incredible. I think it'd be incredible. Like I said, it's so much talent. And yeah, you got to see Kevin Owens is here. Have him finish up the thing that got started with Kevin Owens. And I know Kevin's going to, that's done the ride to Kevin where he's going to be wrestling Randy Orton. But, man, go ahead and finish the thing that he had with Cody Rhodes for right now. So I think I got 9 guys with Kevin Owens. You definitely got to put Kevin Owens in there. So Austin Theory, Kevin Owens, I'm going to say put him at number 7 right now as the number 7 contender. So I think I got one more guys to put on this list. I see LA Knight is on here. Kofi Kingston, of course, Kofi's not a contender. LA Knight, he has his own title, the United States title. You got Lexis King. Logan Paul is still on the roster, but of course not him in the top 10 for the title, but he definitely could wrestle for the title somewhere down the road. Lucian Price, who's still in NXT. Ludwig Kaiser, almost a top 10 guy, guys. I would say number 11. Make him the number 11 contender. Okay, Luke Gallows, you can easily take Luke Gallows and make him a bad guy and have him come up and be in the top 10, guys. A top 10 contender for the title. First, I saw Carl Anderson could have been him, but make Luke Gallows a bad guy, man. And Luke Gallows can come in and be your number 7 guy or whatever I got left. But he can be in that top 10. But hey, man, I'm going to go ahead and let this one go, guys, and I'm going to go ahead and get some rest or whatever. I got some things to clean up, some things to do before I do anything else. But yeah, I appreciate everybody coming in. If you here on and you enjoying this podcast, go ahead and hit that like, share, join. If you over on Facebook, you're here on YouTube, you hit that like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, ding, 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 so you know we're on like times like these. Do the same thing over on Twitch. And when you see us on X, formerly known as Twitter, hit that like, share, tweet, and retweet, and follow the Straight Up Wrestling Show over there on X, guys. But man, wow, I don't know how much more I'm gonna go here, but yeah, I appreciate everybody coming in 100%. But that's it with Cody, guys. As far as everything that Cody, everything that Cody's involved with, that's just the way I see it. Gunther already talked about a few different opponents for him, but you got to you want to make Cody Rhodes look strong. They need something like that. They need a coalition like that, in my opinion. Gunther, you got to make Gunther look very strong, and you got to put strong opponents up against him, but you can't let Gunther look afraid, guys. Of course, you got Damian Priest right now, his number 1 contender. Continue to go on with that, but definitely bring some of these other people up and make them a contender. You can even have a title versus title match with Gunther and LA Knight. I think that will be an outstanding match up if you let LA Knight come in. Of course, LA Knight is going to need some, he definitely going to need some help from the booking committee, or how everything is going to play out, how he's going to wrestle Gunther, because he's not on that level. He's not on that level. LA Knight is a C+ wrestler, and that's the best he's going to be. But hey, Dusty Rhodes was a C+ wrestler, maybe a B wrestler. Magnum TA was a C level wrestler, but he was outstanding with the tools that he had, and he delivered. One thing about WCW, Dusty Rhodes, who was the booker at that time, when Mag was there, and you had Tony Schiavone too involved in that. These guys was able to get every single bit of talent out of Magnum TA. It was great. It was outstanding. So you got to get every single bit of that work from a Gunther, guys. So, wow, give me just a second here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to talk about a few more things. Already talked about Vince McMahon. Okay, yeah, talked about Vince McMahon, talked about Cody Rhodes, talked about Gunther. What else? Hey, man, tag team wrestling, got to get it right. Tag team wrestling, they have got to get it right. I am so tired of seeing the same tag teams over and over again, and you're not doing anything with them. And you're giving me a DIY. You're putting titles on them. Now you're putting it on Motor City Machine Guns. Street Profits, I don't care about them, but hey, I think they deserve the titles over a DIY. They deserve the titles over Motor City Machine Guns. New Day, you can put the belts back on New Day, but right now you have a storyline of maybe Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston here developing. Let's see how that ends up. And you got Austin Theory out there and Grayson Waller as a tag team. But you got a tag team division with all these tag teams, but you need to make it make sense with each and every one of them. Make it make sense and put these guys in an order. Okay, if the Motor City Machine Guns gonna be your champion, you make them your champions. Who you gonna make your number one contenders? Go ahead. DIY look like they're gonna break up. So you go ahead and put Austin Theory and Grayson Waller as your number one team. Put number one challengers. You take the Street Profits, put them in number two. But you Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, maybe number 5 and number 6. But you can bring back up Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. You can bring those guys back up, and Luke Gallows break off and, like I say, wrestle Cody a little bit. But he's still in that tag team. But give these guys shots, guys. Give these guys shots. Make this tag team division worth something. This Pretty Deadly. Make it worth something, guys. Make it worth something and make it make sense. Don't just give us crap. You can't be lazy with this. And Triple H, I am sure, I'm 100% sure he has so much other work to do with Endeavor TKO Holdings that the things that he have him doing that he doesn't have the time. I think that's one of the biggest problems. He don't have the time to script or to be 100% on the creative control of the company. I think people come up to him with ideas because, of course, he has writers and everything, and he approves things. This I like this, I like that, I like this, I like that. But let's see what you can do. Let's see you come out and control the situation. I would love for him to do that, because right now, man, it's just it's all over the place, over in the WWE. AEW the same way. Let me bring up that roster in the AEW guys. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. Go ahead and talk about AEW. Black Rain 7920 is in the house. What's up, Black Rain, my man? My man, 50 grand, Black Rain. They need a monster tag team that destroys everyone. Yeah, and Chris thought they had that with that AOP thing, but I just wasn't buying it, man. I wasn't buying it. But they do need a monster tag team to destroy everything, destroy everyone. But when it boils down to it, if it's going to be a male tag team, they're going to have to put that together. In my opinion, they're going to have to put that together, Black Rain. Black Rain says WWE needs another Jim Ross type. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But yeah, if they're going to have a tag team to destroy everybody, they're going to have to put that together. And let me think of it. Let me think on it in just a minute, and I will come up with that tag team. Let me look at this before I go over to AEW's roster. Let me look at some of these different wrestlers that they can maybe put together and have this great, outstanding tag team, man. Over on the main roster, and you can have one. In all actuality, you can have one for the SmackDown, one for SmackDown, one for Raw. But you basically want one tag team that can go to each to go to each brand and just dominate. Okay. To tell you the truth, but he has a title though. Braun Breaker, I say Braun Breaker and Karrion Kross will be devastating. That will be a devastating tag team if you can put those guys together. But Braun has a title. Braun's a solo star. That's the way it's going to be. Let's see. Let me look at Karrion. See, let's look at who you can team up. Montez Ford, put him, man, as far as one of the top 3 contenders, top 3 or 4 contenders for Gunther's belt. But let's see who we can put with Karrion Kross, guys. Okay. Wait a minute now. You bring Obafema up. Forgot about Randy Orton, guys. But bring Obafema up and goodness sake. Now, I'm not going to say it. Bring Obafema up. Bring Ridge Holland up. I'm trying to look at this. I'm trying to look at this in a way that I really don't. I forgot about Self. Yeah, we got Self freaking Rollins in here too. You got Sheamus in here. You got so many people. So many people. Man, they have so much talent. What is the problem? What is the problem? I named 10 people without naming that little few guys right there as the top 10 for Cody Rhodes and made some scenarios out of that. So I don't know what the problem is. Wow, man. Wow. I gotta say Obafema, guys. I'm gonna go with Obafema. I'm gonna go with Obafema and Karrion Kross. Or Karrion Kross and Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland and Karrion Kross, or Ridge Holland and Obafema. All actuality, you can put them with a manager. Put those three guys with Paul Ellering. Paul Ellering, forget about those other two guys, Razor and this other guy with APO. And Paul Ellering as the manager, starting the new Legion of Doom with Karrion Kross, Ridge Holland, and this other dude, Obafema. And you could team either one of these two together and have one of the other guys run solo and do some major things. I think, all actuality, Paul Ellering as the manager of Karrion Kross. Of course, you're going to have Scarlett over there too. But have Paul Ellering as the manager of Karrion Kross, and you could put him on a great solo run. But you can, Obafema, he's big enough, big, bad. Ridge Holland, he's got size on him too. But Ridge Holland and Obafema. Or you can team Obafema with Sheamus. Obafema and Sheamus, they will wreak havoc. But you have Obafema and Ridge Holland, because Ridge Holland is still young. Both of them fast, quick, let them just destroy everybody. Long as Ridge Holland don't hurt anybody else. But yeah, I would love to see that as a tag team. But yeah, let me go over to AEW and talk about them a little bit, guys. Go in there and talk about that roster. But there's just too much talent in WWE for those guys not to just have great show after great show on TV, guys. On TV. They should be putting on great show after great show after great show and have great feuds. It's just too much talent. Too much talent. So, I mean, I don't understand what's going on. And, of course, do you need somebody that's very creative, that's sitting there all day long? Because, man, they run so many different shows that needs to be in control of that. Yes, you do. You need to have people that's going to sit down. That's all they do all day long. For this thing to be right, you got to be a workaholic. Just like, hey, Vince McMahon, like they talking about on TV, man, he was a workaholic, and he used Pat Patterson, even though Pat Patterson, oh, guys, he was a horrible guy. But Pat Patterson knew what he was doing when it came to that booking stuff, man. He really did. All right, let me see. Let's look at this All Elite Wrestling roster here, guys. Look at the champions. All right, man, we have Jon Moxley as the AEW World Champion. I think they need to use somebody else as the guy to carry the company, but right now he's the best. He's been the best and the most consistent guy to carry that company. So I can understand why they got the title on him. I really can. All right, and right now, guys, I'm just doing everybody. I'm just doing the guys, the males. I pretty much haven't talked about the females. I will come back maybe tomorrow, and I will go extensively over this roster. I'm gonna do a. I think, what is this? Okay, Dropkicks and Body Slams, part 23, Dropkicks and Body Slams 23, and I'm gonna talk about every single thing that I didn't get to talk about, and I'm gonna go over the women. They're gonna be a huge part of it, because I need to really talk about everything I want to talk about. I need to be on here 2 or 3 hours. I really do, guys. All right, Jon Moxley is the world champion over there. Private Party is the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Private Party, pretty good. They kind of like remind me of, they remind me of the guys that had it before them, the Acclaimed, who had it a while back. They kind of remind me of them. It's going to be the same type of run, not as serious, but, they call themselves Private Party. Come on, man. Come on. But these guys are okay. They're pretty good, and big ups to them. That was a great match against the Young Bucks. Let's see where this thing goes. As far as Private Party, they have a lot of tag teams, or they have a lot of, they have a lot of potential to put together a lot of great tag teams over in AEW. So you can let these guys have a strong run. And when it boils down to it, these Private Party guys have a chance to be another Fabulous One, like the Fabulous Ones, teams like that, they have a chance to be that type of team if AEW play it right. They got to be booked right. That's the whole thing about it. They got to be booked right. Don't just be putting the titles on them just to put the titles on them. Oh, they've been here for a long time. These guys are loyal or whatever. Or, going with the race thing. Because I know a lot of people out here, man, hey, like it or not, they say, oh, they're not treating the black wrestlers right or whatever. And they go ahead and I'm going to put the titles on them. Don't have them out here as a token, Tony Khan. Give these guys a chance. If you want these guys to be the champion for a while, give these guys a chance and book them right, man. Put them against the top tag teams and make it make sense as they go through these tag teams and wrestle. Make them wrestle for the belts. Make them wrestle to keep those belts straight up. All right, man. Takashita, Kanoshiki, Takashita, and we great, outstanding wrestler, guys. Man, they can do so much with him. So much can be done with Takashita over there, man. He is just incredible. One of these guys who can carry the company. Man, he's a great Muta. He's bigger than Great Muta, but he's a great Muta type of guy that you can that can continue on and on and on, doing great things, guys. 100%. Oh wow, this thing flipped over on me. Hey, give me just a second here, guys. Got to get back to the page I was on. But yeah, Takashita, man, he is outstanding. All right, we got the AEW World Trios Tag Team Championship. Just call it the 6-man Tag Team Championship if you want to have that. When it boils down to it, that's something I would disband. But yeah, no, I'll take it back. I'll go ahead and keep it. But why have Claudio Castagnoli? He's with Pac and Yuta. They are the trios champions. Claudio Castagnoli should be the world champion. He should, he should turn on Jon Moxley and join up with the fans if he have to. But I think he will be good as a bad guy. And you put this guy with you put him with a female manager, guys, a female valet, somebody like a Scarlett, that somebody like which Karrion Kross has. If this guy went over to WWE, him and Karrion Kross together, man, they would be outstanding as a tag team. But he deserves a lot more credit than he gets. Claudio Castagnoli is outstanding, and he should be the guy who should be leading that company over there, in my opinion. All right, we got the AEW Continental Champion, Okada, guys. Okada, another great wrestler, but they got a lot of great talent. Man, get Adam Cole, get him in the gym. Get him in the gym. Get serious about it. He has a lot of talent, but get him in the gym and beef him up, man. He's got to get beefed up. Have him eating. Put some protein in this dude, man. Put some protein in him. Action Andrade. Andretti was really good. Aaron Solo. Okay, Adam Cole. Adam Copeland. I don't know what in the world they're going to do with him, but they got to get him on the right track. Adam Page. I love what they're doing with Adam Page over there. Adam Page, man, should be another guy who's back on the fast track to get one of these top titles. Straight up. Especially with the attitude he has now. Okay, Angelo Parker. I like Angelo Parker. Anthony Bournes and his partner, not Anthony Ogogo, but Anthony Bournes and his partner, the other guy with the acclaimed outstanding. Bandito is pretty good, fast, quick. Austin Gunn, man, the Gun Club, those are the guys who should end up taking the titles from the Gun Club. Those two brothers, they should take the titles off of a Private Party 3-4 months down the road or 5 months down the road. Let Private Party have it for a while, guys. Let them be seen as serious. Billy Gunn, man. Billy Gunn, you can definitely use this guy. I would use him as a singles competitor. He'd be one of the top 4 guys, like number 4, number 5 guy for the World Heavyweight Championship. Bobby Lashley, you fast track him to the World Heavyweight Championship. And it don't matter. He takes on anybody. It doesn't matter if it's a heel or if it's a face. But you fast track him to pretty much going for the title from Jon Moxley. You do. And make it be and show it with class, guys, because both of these guys with both of their groups, all it be is a bunch of fighting and everything like that. But you got to make it with class and let everything, pretty much be mutual as these guys going for these titles. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on off of here. Guys, I appreciate you guys coming in. But tomorrow, man, I'll do another Dropkicks and Body Slams, talk about this in length, maybe for a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours, go over things I didn't go over. But I'll talk to you guys later, man. Stay straight up. And before you leave here, go ahead and hit that like, share, join over on Facebook. On YouTube, hit that like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, ding, 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 so you know when we're on. Like times like these, do the same thing on Twitch. And if you see us over on X, guys, you hit that like, share, tweet, and retweet, and follow the Straight Up Wrestling Show on X, guys. I am out of here. Appreciate Buck Breeziner coming in, man. Big time wrestler, big tall guy, like 7 foot tall. Christine Saucy Girl coming in, Black Rain 7920 coming in, and everybody else who came in to see this stream live. I appreciate each and every one of you. Stay straight up. Peace.